Where's Tyson? How's he getting on? What's he doing?
He's good. He's at the moment, he's just ticking over, and he went out. I think they went out to look at a couple of training camps, and they get into the serious side of it in October.
Right. Anyway, here's an interesting one for you. I don't know if you saw last week, but if you didn't, I'm going to play it for you. Derek Chisora was in the studio, and this is what he said about Tyson Fury and the things that are coming his way.
There's two things you have to understand. When Tyson fights, he fights for himself. When Usyk fights...
He fights for his country.
Fights for his country.
Yeah.
Tyson, I don't think Tyson was 100% when he walked in that ring.
For what reason?
Well, mentally or physically?
I mean, because he had a massive cut. He didn't want to get 5, 10 grand for missing, 10 million for missing the fight. So he didn't spar the way he wanted to spar.
You think underprepared, like for a fight of that magnitude?
Underprepared, yeah.
You think Usyk still wins?
I think Usyk stops him this time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you think, again, Frank, Chisora talking about Fury's preparation for that fight and the outcome as a result of what we saw. What's your take on what he just said?
It's his opinion, but it's wrong. He trained for the fight. And he trained well for the fight, and for the first 7 rounds of the fight, he looked like at one stage that was gonna be the end of the fight. He got caught, was it in that 8th round on the nose? And I don't know what happened when he got caught.
9th round, I think it was the 9th round.
No, that was the 9th round is when he came on strong. No, he got caught around before. If you watch him, he gets caught with a shot, and it's like on the tip of his nose. And he told me afterwards, he had this strange, weird effects all around his eye. And he kept doing this. He kept touching. You watch him in the fight, keep touching it, and he just lost his focus.
Do you think, Frank, that he underestimated Usyk in many ways? Because he talked about his size and physicality. Because for the first 4 rounds to me, it didn't seem to get going, Tyson. It seemed like he was just sort of like, he wasn't really doing too much. And that's where he may have been like letting the fight slip away from him. Yeah, he turned it around in the middle rounds. And then Usyk took control again, didn't he, from that 8th round, from that moment?
Well, he caught him on the nose, and then the 9th round was, if it weren't for the ropes, he would have been on the floor, and he managed to get through it, and he got right through to the end, and he won the last round. But I went in a dressing room with both of them afterwards, went to see both of them, and for me, it took more out of Usyk than it did out of Tyson.
But there's no debate who won the fight, right?
No, I thought he won it, but there's nothing in it. No. I didn't think there was anything in the fight. Nor did it's a split decision. No, and a lot of people, like people who I respect, like Thomas Hauser, scored it a draw. A lot of people who didn't have a biased view or like myself, if I was biased, people who were independent, quite a few of them scored it as a draw or by 1 round.
You don't think there was a fight was a draw, do you?
No, I thought Usyk won by, I think I scored it by 2 or 3 rounds. Yeah. I had Usyk winning. I think he lost his fight at the beginning of the fight, Fury, because for me it seemed like he didn't turn up, as in he let Usyk do what he wanted and just nick those rounds. They were competitive rounds, but he was allowing Usyk to nick the rounds.
I didn't think. See, that's how you score, but I didn't do that. But if you look at the judges' scoring, it was quite. You look at the scorecards, it was quite.
Yeah.
But he soon picked up the slack, though, didn't he? Ultimately, he might have let the first couple of rounds get away from him and not dictate the pace, but he soon picked up.
He controlled the middle part of the fight.
Everybody I was sitting next to,
came again.
Everybody in that 7th round, everybody I was sitting next to, thought that Usyk was going to get knocked out.
It looked that way, though.
That uppercut, and his legs went all over the place.
Yeah, but if my aunt was my uncle and he didn't, he went on and
well, that's boxing.
Where are you on the observation? Too many voices. What we saw.
I don't like corners where everybody's shouting. Of course I don't.
So what's going on there? Then? You've got his dad shouting left, right, and centre.
What's going on is it happened, and they've got to make sure it don't happen again. They got to sort it out.
Totally agree. There's got to be one voice.
Can't change it. It was what it was. I don't like that in any fighter's corner.
No, I think that any fighter, when you're in a corner and everything's going on and you've got to take those instructions, it has to be one voice and one voice only. You can't have voices coming from everywhere because it just creates mayhem in the head. Well,
hang on. A moment ago, we had his dad coming, Daniel Dubois' dad coming in and needing to be a second voice.
He became the only voice.
He became the only voice. OK, fair enough. Where are you, Spence, on... we've discussed this with Derek last week, and it'd be interesting to throw a couple of things that Derek said beyond the VT that we've got there about what happens to Fury on Joshua's hands and what happens to Usyk's on Joshua's hands. We'll throw that in a second. But what do you think of the second fight between Fury and Usyk? I think I've got an opinion because everyone thinks my head's up Fury's arse, which isn't. Yeah. Right? I just happen to think he can win this second fight.
Listen, it's definitely a winnable fight for Tyson Fury because he has that, he has those physicalities and he's also got the boxing IQ. But whether he can do that again in the second fight remains to be seen. I'm unsure. I still think Usyk wins the second fight. I just think that Tyson Fury, I'm not sure where he's he's still got stuff now to prove to him. Like, a best version of Tyson Fury beats Oleksandr Usyk, but I'm not sure that best version is around anymore.
That is a very valid point. But the best version of Tyson beats the best version of Usyk.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
But what you said is quite real. And then is there going to be the best version
I think there's
of Usyk?
because
in that dressing room afterwards, and I only said what they told me when the doctor was there, and I was in there when the doctor was examining him, and the doctor said that he thought he'd broken his eye socket, and they sent him for an MRI, and that's why he weren't going to the press conference. Then he went, and then Igis, his manager, told me when we was at the airport that he got caught with a shot, the uppercut, and it impacted a implanted tooth into his jaw. Wow. So, and he didn't look too good. And Tyson, but Tyson's a little bit more, a bit more movement with him, if you know what I mean.
But that's what I think there's the difference between the Tyson, like you're talking about the best version of Tyson Fury. That is the difference. It is that the feet are maybe not once what they were. When he won the title against Klitschko, and if they're not, then he's got a tough night, Frank.
And I generally. One thing about it, he's got a great boxing IQ, and he wants to fight, and he definitely, obviously he wants to fight, and it's going to happen. But I just feel that he's got I do feel he has the ability to stop Usyk.
After his
and what Derek says, Derek's.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What are you going to?
But after the Dillian Whyte demolition, which I thought was a men against boys. From the moment he walked into the ring to the press conference, I always felt it was men against boys. I didn't think that Dillian Whyte thought he could win that fight, and I don't think that he came anywhere close.
What do you keep telling me I should have been giving him more money for? He should have got more money.
I felt a bit sorry for him. That's all.
Oh, all right,
I didn't.
Okay.
I made the argument.
We'll let you off there. We'll let you off.
I made the argument.
Hold on. Simon Jordan felt sorry for someone. Come on,
I
mate.
made the argument.
Come on, Frank.
He had a whip round for him afterwards. He had a whip round.
I've never heard so much. You felt sorry for someone.
I did.
Jesus.
I made the argument that the poor bastard had been a mandatory for 2 years. Couldn't he give him a few extra bob? Right?
He takes all the money on this show. He don't feel sorry for me.
After that fight,
He's going to top you up.
After that fight, Tyson Fury proclaimed himself as the greatest fighter of his generation. In order for that claim to have some substance,
he's got to beat Usyk.
He's got to beat Usyk.
Correct. And everybody, a lot of journalists said after the fight that Usyk is the best fighter of his generation. Heavyweight. Yeah. They've said that, and on the strength of that decision, the way it was given, fine. So I want it to be like that because if Tyson beats him, then he's beat the best fighter of his generation.
Frank, I've got one for you. So if regardless of the outcome of Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, do we get Joshua Fury? Because Turki Al-Sheikh has made that. I think he said that that's a fight that he wants, win or lose for them guys. He wants that fight after they both box. And you're smiling there, Frank, like that's a possibility.
Look, maybe they're talking that Tyson beats Usyk
But if one wins and one loses, we still get the fight.
I don't know. I mean, if they both want it, it's
nothing.
No.
Your face telling me that we didn't get that fight.
No, it's not at all. Look, I'm in the Tyson Fury, and I'm in the Daniel Dubois business. That's the business I'm in. I believe both those guys are going to win. Are going to win the titles. That'll mean that those belts are held by the both of them. And who knows? It depends how AJ gets beaten.
But we all know, right? Let's have it honest while we're having this moment to share. Put aside your loyalties towards Daniel Dubois, right, which are clearly commercial loyalties and also personal loyalties, and you want him to win. In the event, right, that Joshua beats him, which you don't think he does, but let's just say he does.
Yeah.
And in the event Fury beats Usyk, which you do think he does.
No-brainer.
Right. This is the fight that needs to be made, isn't it? This is the fight. And it goes to a different level, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It goes to a different level.
And that's pretty undisputed again as well.
100. But what I think HE was saying, that even if they both lose to make it. And by the way...
That's the point I was just making.
Also, why not? I ain't got a problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, when you're talking about legacies and modern eras and whatnot, they have to fight, right? I mean, we need AJ versus Tyson Fury. If it's a fight that doesn't happen, it's going to be, it
has to happen for the right reasons. It can't just happen because both of them have got beat and they're now scratching around.
Well, I think it needs to happen regardless. When you're talking about modern legacies.
We've done a fight that we done Joe Joyce and Derek Chisora, and I've got to be honest, I thought Derek should have retired a couple of years ago. and it would turn out to be an unbelievably, really entertaining and a good fight.
Yeah, but we're not drawing a parallel between those two boys and what.
No, I'm not
what
saying, but it's
Fury
two guys.
and Joshua
two
beat.
guys.
No, but I think regardless, you need to see the fight anyway. AJ versus Fury.
If they win, yeah, it makes a credible case for it. If it's not, it's become a circus.
Regardless,
But
but it's a fight you'd watch, right?
But also, it depends how they lose. You can have it say it's a debatable decision.
Right, so it's the best of the best, the best of the losers, is it? That's what.
Well, it depends how they lose. You can't just say
how much that it generates.
So, of course, it's about money.
Just
it's called professional boxing.
I understand.
Do you
that,
work for
but
nothing?
Yes.
When you're going to top his
I feel like it was
Thank you very much, Frank. We'll have that conversation
professional
afterwards.
boxing.
But regardless, you would watch the fight. If they both lost and AJ versus Fury was made, don't tell me you wouldn't watch it.
No, I would watch it.
Don't tell me you wouldn't be asking
Let me
Frank
answer
for
the
a
question.
ticket.
I would watch it with less intrigue than I would watch it.
Yeah, but you'd watch it.
Two winners.
But you'd watch it.
But with a different dynamic.
Would you pay the box
I want to make sure that Frank was made a load of money.
I think
I'd want to pay my pay-per-view stuff so he can get a few more quid out of it.
I think the whole conversation, until you see the two results of the two fights and how they
is
end.
moot.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I've got to mention this because Derek talked about it the other day, before we move on to the undercard quickly. He talks about Joshua winning against your boy. Forget whether that's right or wrong, but let's say he does for the purpose of this conversation. He then said Joshua goes out and knocks Fury out in 4.
No, he said he knocks Usyk out in 4 and Fury out in 6. Is that
He said Joshua does it.
Yeah.
Joshua.
Well, they share the same management company.
Well, what do you think of that?
They share the same management company.
but what do you think of it? You're not short of an
What
opinion.
do I think? I think he's talking out of his management mouth.
Your mate.
That's what I think. I mean, he ain't going to slag up his manager, is he? At one stage, I think he was his manager, and it's his company.
They're both from Finchley, aren't they? Finchley ABC.
No.
They've got a lot of history.
Who's the management company?
258, isn't it?
258.
258, yeah. He's under 258. Listen,
I just wanted to put the question.
Where's the research on that? I
He
thought
should be
you'd have brought
ashamed
it
of
out when
himself
you've
for
done
making
it.
such a scandalous observation.
see, he's taking all the money from the show and he's not even putting the research
He's done
in.
the
Huh?
research.
Who, what, me?
Oh, yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I allowed it. I didn't
Look
hear
like the
you
cat
saying
that's got the
Bruce
cream,
when he
mate.
came out with it.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.